and welcome to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. I'm your host, Susan J. Faris, MSN RN, SJF Communications. Here we will listen to stories from nurses that use the creative arts in their practice or in their personal lives. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, Bonnie Antonini. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Susan. It's so good to see you again. It's been so many years now.
I know, since 2011. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it's been that long. It has zipped by.
But we're still here with the heart. Yes, we're still
here.
connected. And
We
thank you for
I know that's the beauty of friendship, isn't it? You don't see each other for a while, but you're still connected.
It's right there. Welcome to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. You will be episode number 6. So I'm getting excited about this. We've got people in the wings, and you were available at the same time, and I'm just so happy to have you back.
Well, I love this whole idea of combining nursing and the arts. It's a natural fit.
I'm so glad that you appreciate it because, it's definitely a value of mine because I have to be creative in several arenas, actually, and I know that you are too. So tell us about how did you get started in nursing, or did you do the arts first and then back and forth? You're an enigma, but you're very talented. I want before you get started. So Bonnie is a multi-talented woman. She is an actor. And we met on set back in 2011 or 2010 before it was out, but in Men of a Certain Age on television, the TV show. But also, she is a food blogger, and her blog is Vegetarian Cooking for Carnivores. Is that the name of it?
And you add blog at the end because I have a video without the word video.
Got it.
Episode. So
okay, so it's her blog, and put that word blog in. Yes, we will put all the links up later. So let's get started. Bonnie, tell us your story in nursing and how you got into the arts, or vice versa. Want to hear?
Well, I started out as an actress, a young actress, and that was what I was going to be. And then as I progressed, and now I'm past teens, and now I'm like an adult or young adult, but realizing that much as I love acting, I really don't like the business of acting. It's not a very pleasant experience a lot of times, especially if you're just I hate to use the word nobody, but you're not famous kind of thing. So it's pretty difficult, and to support yourself as a young person. So my best friend growing up was a nurse. She always wanted to be a nurse. And when we were 16, we were candy stripers together, and I loved doing that. But the one thing I was never going to be was a nurse. There was a lot of things I was interested in, but nursing was absolutely not.
And I wonder why. Why not back then?
I think the big thing was giving shots. The idea of giving a shot to somebody kind of freaked me out. So once I decided I didn't want to stay in show business, or at least didn't want to try to support myself that way and get an actual job.
Right.
I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I do? And I found a book, because this is pre-internet time, and there were careers you could do. And there was medical careers, and of course there was nursing, but there was also psychiatric technician.
Oh, okay.
So I thought I think I would enjoy doing psychiatric, being a psych tech and talking with people, trying to help them. So I started the program, and I enjoyed it. And then we had to give shots.
Oh, you still had to give shots.
Oh, no, that's the one reason I didn't, go into nursing, because nursing pays better. You need to get a badge. Well, you don't have to get a bachelor's, but it's a pretty good idea to do. So I thought, well, what am I doing in this psych tech, school where I could go to nursing school? I'm gonna have to give the shots anyway. So I dropped out of the school, and I had already applied. Actually, I had applied to nursing school first, and then when I got my acceptance, I dropped out of the psych tech school, and then I started nursing school. And
where was this?
Well, I started out in Los Angeles at Mount St. Mary's, but the summer before I started, I met my husband. He was at USC in medical school, his 4th year of medical school, and we fell in love. And he was leaving the next year, so for his internship, and I wasn't going to leave everything, including my school and my family and friends, if I wasn't married. So we got married. We hadn't known each other that long, but we've been married for 40 years. So it
Wow,
worked out.
that's great. So you graduated from nursing school in the 90s or 80s or?
I did in the mid 80s. We moved up to Sacramento because that's where UC Davis is where he did his
UC Davis, okay.
residency. So I went to Sac State and got my BSN
Sacramento.
there.
Great, great.
Yeah.
So you were an actor that led you to nursing, but now you're back to acting.
I know. So I wanted to. Loved being a nurse, but then we wanted to start a family, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I stopped nursing, and I was a stay-at-home mom. And then when my boys were teenager-ish, I thought, they really don't need their mom that much. And one of the neighbor kids was involved in theater, and I thought, oh, I used to be an actress. So I auditioned for a play, and I got the role. And then, I ended up going back where I started.
There you go. Now, when you were nursing, what specialties did you work in?
I started right out as a cardiac nurse in
Oh, that's
telemetry,
pretty rare. Yeah.
It was rare. It was in those days, though, they were shorthanded in the CCU and the ICU and in telemetry.
I
So
see.
they were willing to take a new grad. Usually as a new grad, you go to med-surg.
Med-surg,
to just
yeah.
learn how everything works.
Right.
But
that's awesome.
but I just knew I wanted cardiac. My best friend and her husband, he's a cardiologist, she's a cardiac nurse. And I don't know if they influenced me or not. It just seemed, I really liked the idea. So
love cardiac nursing. Me too. Just absolutely love it.
In fact, the first present my husband gave me was how to read EKGs.
That's great. He's very helpful.
I know. I didn't need any jewelry or anything like that. I love that book. I
know how to read a strip. Yeah. And so how many years did you do clinical nursing?
Well, not that many years. I can't remember exactly how many years because, as I said, I started nursing and I was intending on going back. But then again,
everything else in life happened, right?
So you just don't know how life is going to go.
Exactly.
So I still love nursing. And if anyone were to ask me if it's a good job, I'd say absolutely. It's so varied.
Yeah.
You can change. You can go from the OR. You can do pediatrics. You can do cardiac. You can, there's just such a variety.
Absolutely. In fact, I was thinking about I got my BSN and I was in general medicine, cardiothoracic surgery, step down, SICU, recovery room, ER, nursing education. I've been writing this out, orthopedic surgery, adult primary health nurse practitioner, MSN, outpatient clinic, nursing education, admin, and clinical manager. And I've done nurse entrepreneurship, legal nurse consulting. So I have done almost everything except for no OB/GYN, no peds, and no psych. But of course, you use your psych a little bit in nursing anyway, right? But yes, nursing is varied. There's so many specialties. And once a nurse, you're always a nurse. You know that. It's always in your heart. You're always looking and making rounds everywhere you go, right?
Absolutely.
Even on set.
Yeah. In fact, when I worked in telemetry, when I first started, there was a male nurse who was saying that his mom used to be a nurse, but he corrected himself. He said, she's a nurse. She made it very clear to him, I am always a nurse. Great. And I still remember that you were always a nurse,
always
whether you're getting paid for it or not.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. Tell us about your food blog, Vegetarian Cooking for Carnivores blog.
That's right.
we said.
Yeah, well, I tried being a vegetarian a few times in my youth, but I fell off the wagon several times because back in those days, if you were a vegetarian, you ate pretty much salad or omelets or rice and beans, and that was boring. And I grew up eating meat, and I like meat. I like the taste of it, but it was for humanitarian reasons why I became a vegetarian. But what I found as time went on, I could be pretty creative and make really good meals that were vegetarian,
Huh.
but but a carnivore would like them. And that's my tagline on my blog is recipes so good that even a carnivore would love them.
Love
So
it.
yeah,
Oh,
so
I can't
and
wait to review some of your recipes.
I
Yeah.
have, oh gosh, I haven't actually counted them, but over 250 by now, I think.
Wow. So
I
that's
don't have a regular regime as to when I post. It's
okay.
kind of when I can get to it kind of thing, but
Hmm.
I have everything from hors d'oeuvres to desserts and in between. And
How
as I say,
creative.
well, I say desserts are vegetarian too, so you
There you
know,
go. There
a
you go.
little moderation of
That's
desserts
great.
can't.
That's great. What do you like to do for fun?
Actually, I do a lot of cooking for fun. I spend probably 3 hours in the day, every day, creating
Wow.
recipes, finding new recipes. I really enjoy it. But also for fun, my family and I are huge hockey fans. So
Oh,
we talk. My son, one of my sons is in the military, so he's always around, he's stationed in different parts of the world. And so we don't see him very often, but
sure.
he'll call, we'll talk for 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
the same 3 hours I spend in the kitchen. He and my husband leaves because he can't, he can only take so much. But we are analyzing our team and what they could do better and the whole league in general. Yeah, we
That's awesome.
love it.
Yeah.
So it's a bond we have.
Sure, that's great. And you get everything done at the same time. You know,
Yeah,
you connect with each other, you share the recipes, and
yeah.
hopefully, well, does he get a chance to cook ever where he's at?
Um, he cooks some, but
Some,
his workday is pretty long, and right now he's
yeah,
in Japan, so he's enjoying
the cuisine,
the
yeah,
cuisine there, and
the
there's
cuisine
some
there.
pretty good food there as
That's
well. So
great.
yeah,
That's great. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a minute here. Hold. Okay, so Bonnie, I was wondering, you have a passion for something related to nursing because of your concern for youth and people nowadays, especially nowadays. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What you
well,
were
when I
thinking
was
about?
back in nursing school and trying to just get through it, and we had to do research projects,
Right.
I became very interested in becoming a school nurse because I was concerned. I had heard or read somewhere, maybe it was in a paper I did, that the children, this was in the mid 80s, so they're grown now, but those children are going to be the first um, generation to not outlive their parents due to
Oh,
obesity and diabetes and all that comes
mm,
with that. And it concerned me. And I thought, well, you can't help your genes, and there's certain
mhm,
things you can't help,
right.
but certain things you can. So I thought I'd become a school nurse, and maybe I could make, a dent in the school I worked at. But at that time, they stopped really using school nurses
And see
for
now
school.
they're doing so much, especially in some other states as well. I mean, they're responsible for lots of
Oh, are
people that,
they?
yeah, people that have ports, um, anaphylaxis kits. There's just so much going on with with children, and diabetes is almost rampant. I mean, at least pre-diabetes is. Uh,
Well, even diabetes is, and I just heard a statistic just not too long ago, and this isn't just children, it's just people in the United States. 40% of Americans are obese.
oh wow,
So
wow.
yeah, I mean,
And
I don't know what to bring.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so
Oh,
excited to talk to
I
you about this. Yeah.
yeah. So they said 40%, and they didn't specify grossly obese, morbidly obese. They just said obese. So I'm not sure
Right.
of the
Right.
spectrum, but it's still concerning. And I
Mm.
did read about, I guess it's the Gen X's, that those ones that were around when, or were very young when I was starting out near school. And those kids not only are not going to outlive their parents, but they're the most depressed. They're the most likely to eat out. And I think that probably goes with the diabetes. And they're,
Just different factors.
it's not good
Yeah.
there.
It's
So
not good.
yeah, so I think a lot of it has to do with health,
Yeah.
be it
Yeah.
psychiatric help or just physical health. And so that when I started my blog, I really wasn't doing it for diabetes in particular. I was doing it so people start eating healthy, because when you cook for yourself, you know what goes in your
Exactly.
body. But when you eat out, the restaurants aren't in the business of making you healthy. They're in the business of selling food.
Well, and even yeah, fast foods and restaurants, and also just looking at some labels when you do buy food.
Yes.
You'd be surprised how much sodium there is, and carbohydrates and fats and all. So reading labels and being a nurse makes you more astute with all of that.
Yeah.
Not that it's always easy to follow, but I really
I
commend
know,
you.
and you know, people work, and I understand when they get home from work, they're tired, and
it
it's
takes
hard to
commitment.
think, yeah, do I really want to chop onions and saute something, or go to McDonald's where I can have it and we're done?
Exactly.
So, but I mean, when my kids were little, I would spend Sunday nights planning my entire menu for the week. So I didn't have to wonder, what are we having tonight? From everything, from rolls to desserts to everything. And then I would shop, so I had everything. So there was no question of what we're having, and I could chop onions for multiple meals at once.
Right.
I mean,
you planned it. You planned it,
yeah,
and
I
you
did
were
plan
structured.
But,
yeah.
And the thing is, it took me a long time to learn to do that. So I don't want people to feel that, oh gosh, I have to do all this right now. It's one thing at a time.
Right.
Maybe cook one meal a week if you normally eat out every night, or two, or something. Just start slow, because you're probably going to fail if you try to do everything at once.
Sure. It took you years to get where you were. Do you ever watch TikTok videos? There's a lot of cooking videos. I see you doing a cooking show. That's another creative outlet for nursing in the arts.
I started out before the blog. I actually started doing videos. I was a one-woman show.
Wow.
And I did the lighting and everything. It took 3 days, and I enjoyed it, but it took 3 days for one. And then I discovered blogging, and I thought, I can crank this blog out.
So so the written word is easier for you than all the setup involved. It's a monster. It's a monster. Oh man, that's great. That's great. So oh yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, so that's why I do the blog. I would like to make a dent, if I could, in the diabetes problem in the country. If people can start eating and cooking for themselves, that will help, I think.
I think that your point of view today on this show, on this Nursing in the Arts show, will help nurses have that light bulb turned on, even for them, their families, their patients, so that they can have a conversation about this situation with diabetes as well. I think you're a great thought leader in this perspective, really. When we met, we were both on set for a show called Men of a Certain Age, and we were both playing oncology nurses. I drove up to LA. You drove down from, were you in Sacramento at the time? Well, what we do for fun, huh? And for incredibly interesting lives to stay young, right? I think, and that was 2011. I see that on your IMDb, you've also worked on Ford versus Ferrari. Can you tell us about the role that you played in that film?
Yeah, they were looking for a secretary to Ferrari. And so I submitted, and sometimes I just know I'm going to get a role. I had a Little Caesars pizza commercial, and I remember when I submitted to it, I thought, I know I'm getting this role, and I did. But this one, I ended up getting. I actually turned it down originally because I thought, well, my husband was going to be out of town, and we had dogs that needed to be minded. I didn't realize Matt Damon and Christian Bale were in the movie. I just thought it was a movie about cars or something.
Okay.
So I turned it down. They called me back 10 minutes later and says, he really wants you to do this. Is there any way you could do it? And so I said, well, okay, I did it. If I could get out by a certain time, they said I would, but of course, he died. So, but that's okay, because it turned out it was fun. It was 3 days of shooting, and I had 2 weeks to get ready
to prepare.
Oh,
okay.
So I started learning Italian in case I got to, speak, and I do speak French. So whenever I was on set, I spoke French or my limited Italian, and then I got
Oh,
away, so if nobody could talk to me, I be
that's
able
so
to.
great. That's great. And you also, so I'm gonna have to watch that again because I know I went to the theater and saw it, but I didn't know.
You
Oh,
blinked, didn't
I
you?
blinked, I
You
blinked.
blinked, so
You
that's
had a
why
few lines, right? You did have a
I
few
did.
lines.
But all you can hear is me saying "si," but that really wasn't what I was saying. I was saying "grazie," and so, but all I got
Oh,
left was the "si."
the portion of the grazia, huh?
Of course, the word.
And additionally, you were in Smash
I
2011,
was in
2012.
Smash.
What did
Yeah,
you do
that was
for
fun.
that?
Those two guys were so funny. I generally played one of their mothers, and
Oh,
it was really fun. They were just kind of kooky episodes, but
and those and
man,
Smash
they,
is Smash still on? Excuse me.
you
I'm so
know,
excited here.
I
It's like I want to keep talking.
well,
But yeah,
I don't think so. I just actually Googled them not too long ago, coincidentally, and I think one of them bought out the other. One of them didn't
hmm.
want to do it anymore. So, they've
Yeah,
been around for a long time.
yeah, and I think they're doing a musical, right? Or
Are they?
something with Smash. I can't remember what it is. We'd have to look that up. So you were in the TV series, right? Yeah, the TV series.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it was very fun. They
that's
were
great.
very nice people. I
That's
really
great.
enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean that's the thing about show business, isn't it? You just meet a variety of people, do a
Exactly.
variety of things. Either I'm crying as Lady Capulet or, a clown in some other thing, it's really varied.
Yeah, or
Like nursing.
the nurse doing our work with the IVs and pretending that they're working and checking on patients. I remember we were making rounds in the
That's
oncology
right.
unit that day,
And
and
they followed you. I remember you were walking along the real
yeah,
the side of the room, the patient
right,
room, and they just
yeah,
followed you around.
follow me around. Yeah, it's fun to play a nurse because we know that language, we know that demeanor, and it all works out. So you
Yeah,
are a creative nurse, is with your passion, the preventing diabetes, preventing obesity. You're a blogger, that's creative. You're an actor, that's creative. You're an overwhelming creative being, and I'm so happy to have you on our show. We're still in our infancy, so if you know any nurses, have them join our Facebook group if you haven't done that yet.
I have
You
joined.
have joined
I have.
Nursing in the Arts Facebook group, as well as follow this and rate us and comment here. And if you can give me your links, I think I have your IMDb, your YouTube, your Vegetarian Cooking for Carnivores blog. And are there any others? IG, Instagram? Do you do Instagram as well?
I do have it, and every now and then I remember to post a picture.
Okay,
It's always food. Uh,
great, great.
yeah. So
That's great. Well, I'm just tickled to have you and to see you again after all these years. And keep in touch. Uh,
well,
any
now we're
parting
closer
words?
together.
I know. That's right. We're only a few hours away. We
That's
are
right.
in California, sunny California here. Anything that you'd like to say at the end here to inspire nurses, whether they're young, naive, just starting out, still in school, or seasoned ones like us? Any thoughtful points?
I just would like to reiterate that nursing is a fabulous career. You you come out with the ability to help people and make a good living for yourself too. And again, there is such a variety that if you don't like this or you get burned out on this oncology or some of the really tough ones,
Right, right,
well, go to labor and delivery or the ER. There's just all
right.
kinds of things. So
There's the
I just think it's
capacity.
wonderful.
Yep, there's a capacity for change and transition, and just so much out there for nurses to
Yeah,
do.
and you feel like you've made a difference.
Oh,
So that's, I
absolutely.
think, the best part about nursing are those moments where you made a difference in someone's life. I mean, I can just remember those times. I
Remember,
mean,
yeah,
just being a
that's
nurse is a good thing, but sometimes there's moments that
right,
just really stand
right.
out.
And this blog, I mean, not blog, I blog about it as well, but this podcast is meant to just show how many creative outlets we have as nurses and how therapeutic it is to get our stories out in certain ways, in different ways. Because when we take care of patients for years and years and years, all those stories are inside and they need
Yeah.
to come out in some way. So it's a therapeutic, cathartic avenue, being creative, whatever your endeavors might be. Thank you so much, Bonnie Antonini.
Well, thank you,
See,
Susan.
gracias and see. Okay, wait one
Well, thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. We loved having you here. And don't forget to sign up for our Facebook group, Nursing and the Arts, as well. And for information, you can email info@sjfcommunications.com.